Hello, and welcome back to the Dungeons & Dragons Podcast UK. My name is Yazmin, and I will be the DM.
Hi, my name's Colin, and I play Cuin de Greymont, a Paladin from Gavany.
Hi, I'm Spencer. I play Cadeaux, Chasseur, a Cleric also from Gavany.
Hi, I'm Brian, and I play Ogvar Surefort, a ranger from Kessig.
Hi, my name is Samantha, and I play Elora Greyvale, a sorcerer from Nephalia. As we left the yarn in episode 46, the party were pondering over a piece of parchment indicating a rough route to what they believed could be the bandits' camp. From a frisk search of the bandit bodies, they had also acquired a key, but would the lure of possible loot lead them into further trouble? Episode 47, Sneaky and Creaky.
Well, it's midday. Why don't we cram some lunch while they're away doing it?
Make a persuasion check.
No,
It's actually closer to...
Is it more diplomacy, probably?
Yes, sorry. It's probably closer to mid-afternoon rather than midday, sorry, because I think you stopped for lunch on your way. I think you'd already stopped for lunch,
We
so...
did.
Oh, I've scored 17 all in for a diplomacy check.
Well, do you think that they would, come up behind us and attack us from behind?
Well, there's only, never be safe. These are the...
They had horses.
They
There might be more of them back in the camp. I'd be worried about us getting attacked from behind by more of them if they've got horses.
Well, especially if they come out here looking for them and they find this pile of bodies that we've left here, they might, they're going to know which way we've gone. We'll leave tracks, won't we? So I think you've got to wipe them out, really.
The sensible thing is to scout out and make sure that we're aware of the danger before it happens.
Right, okay. So, Miss Elora, Mr. Cadeaux, and Miss Esther, you're staying here, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Well, if you think that the pair of you can get it done, I'm more than happy to wait.
Okay, yes.
Oh yes, just more of a reconnaissance mission than a
Oh, yes.
killing party.
We're not talking about
Cuin.
possibly not engaging them.
Well, crack on, boys. We're on
Do
time
you
here.
instinctively know how to ride it? Sorry, people who have been around long enough instinctively know how to ride a horse.
No.
No, it's a trained skill.
So if we put these two on a horse, they can't guarantee they'll be able to ride it.
If they're just using the horses for walking purposes, it's going to be a lower DC check, but if they actually want to start galloping them and doing stuff with them, it's going to be a higher DC check.
Question, would you get an advantage if you came across somebody and you were on a horse? Would you get an advantage to your roll to hit from above?
It would count as mounted combat, which applies to a different set of rules entirely.
It's a skill, isn't it? Right, fighting from saddle.
Yeah,
I was thinking that
mounted
riding
combat.
a horse to wherever you're going would be quicker, but it
But
might not be.
more give your position away as well.
Yes.
Noisy.
Yeah,
You
clanking
can't
armour and
stealth,
stuff,
yeah.
yeah.
So
Stealth checks and stuff like that.
Off you go then, fellas.
Okay.
If you're not back within 2 hours, we're leaving.
Okay,
okay,
no problem.
understood. Come on then.
Right.
Cuin, let's
Off.
But,
Okay, so we're going to go head towards
Okay. Right.
the
The
area.
party.
Is Murdoch coming with you?
yes.
Murdoch kind of flies ahead of you.
Yeah, so I'd like to use him as a scout for any movement
Yeah.
ahead, please.
Okay, so you want to use him as a scout, so is that one of his skills?
Yes, that was his primary skill, I think.
At this point, can I check on... Elora would like to check on Rowan and see whether he is now with it. Because it's been...
Yeah, he is fully clinging to his perch now.
Right. I am going to speak to Rowan and say... Right, now you're back on this land of the living, you can redeem yourself by going and doing a job. I want you to track Cuin and Ogvar I want you to follow them, and I want to know anything. I want to know what's going on. I want you to report back to me what's happening.
Mead.
No. No. Never mind mead. I have need. You need to do your job. No, I don't keep you for nothing, Rowan. Just get on with the job.
He gives you a little mock salute and flushes off.
Good boy.
Okay, so
Yes.
we're off, just the two of us.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, damn it. Can I retcon that slightly?
What?
I would like to place. I would like to imbue. I don't know. You would class it as imbue him. I would like to give him the ability to use a spell.
Yeah, no.
No.
No, you've already sent him off.
Okay.
Had it been something else that you may have forgotten to tell him, I might have thought about it, but
Lesson. I've just got schooled.
yeah, there we go. Okay, so Cuin and Ogvar, you've set off to find this camp. Murdoch is in front of you. He's kind of flitting from bits of rock to branches.
Mhm.
I mean, it's sparsely. There are sparse trees here. It's not a thick forest, but there are the occasional tree. There's quite a large gap between them. It's quite open, but you have got these trees and a couple of big rocks. And you start walking through this copse. Anything you're doing while you're
Well,
walking?
just checking around and listening to see if we can hear anything.
Yeah, being
or smell.
rather quiet, trying to be a little bit on the sneaky side.
So you both trying to be stealthy.
Yes.
Make me stealth checks then.
That I move silently.
Yes, sorry.
So that's
And you'll have your
minus.
armour check penalty.
Yeah, I've got that. I did. I've got my shield with me, so that counted. So that's -2.
Have you taken a drum with you?
5.
A 5 and
Clank, clank, clank.
24.
Ogvar, you barely leave a whisper over the ground as you pass.
Hover boots.
With all your natural senses in the wilds, you know exactly where to place your feet and where twigs may be lying in the grass to avoid them. And following Murdoch's lead, you're like a ghost. And behind you, all you can hear is the clank, chank, crack, crack, clank, chank, bang. Oh, what ho! Of Cuin.
You're rather quiet, aren't you, Ogvar?
Yes, and you're rather noisy, so be good.
Hey, sorry. Hey,
Please try to be quiet.
I'll try.
So,
Okay.
So we're going to go further. Yes.
Yep. You walk for a good 15 minutes, and you can both make me listen checks.
Listen, James.
Can you hear anything over above the sound of his armour?
God.
No.
18 for Ogvar.
18.
8.
Is that visor?
Suppose
Is that
I'm
visor
changing
falling
these
down
dice. Basically, the last two rolls have been 7.
Changing these dice.
Okay. With an 18 Ogvar, you can hear the sounds of a crackling fire and the sounds of men and women, not very many you wouldn't say, a few men and women drinking and making merry.
Okay.
Cuin, your visor falls down and you walk into a branch.
I thought that chap had fixed this.
Cuin, you must try to be quiet. I'm trying to listen.
Hey, sorry.
Hold on. I can hear people up ahead. I can definitely hear a fire crackling, and it sounds like there's a group of people.
Oh, sorry.
Can I send Murdoch out to report back what he sees?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Make me scouting. He's scouting here, isn't he?
Yeah.
This is the skill you're training him for, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, okay, so make me an animal handling then.
We'll do find the dice. It's alright.
Oh, you don't trust my dice? Oh!
That's going to be 15. No, sorry, 25.
Yeah.
I was only factor of 10 out, wasn't I? Yeah, I forgot the one in front of this. Yeah.
Murdoch takes flight again for he's kind of stopped on your shoulder, he's perched on your shoulder. He takes flight as you kind of whisper to him, like, what are you whispering to him?
Telling him to go ahead and see what that noise is about. See how many people and what's going on, please.
And he takes, he lights from your shoulder, and you don't see him for about 5 minutes. Then he comes back, he lands on your shoulder, and he goes, 5.
Do you see what they're doing?
Food.
Were there any weapons around?
Big knife.
That'd be swords.
Could be. Okay, so Cuin, there seems to be 5 people up ahead of us, and Murdoch seems to think there's a big knife.
Yeah, right.
Could be a sword, or it could be
Big knife.
could be Crocodile Dundee up there.
Okay, yes. Do you reckon we should get a bit closer, or...?
If you want to, if we can stay to the bushes and stay to the hedges and
Okay.
try to remain unseen
Okay.
and unheard.
Oh.
Okay, so you can make me another move slightly check. Meanwhile, Rowan... Rowan is whizzing about the woods quite happily.
You started practicing
You
your
don't see
harmonica.
him.
Oh, God.
Say that? Oh, I missed a bit now.
The rolling on this side isn't getting any better.
Sorry, Rowan was flitting about the woods.
So at this point, Rowan's just whizzing about the woods and having a grand old time looking for Ogvar and Cuin. You haven't heard anything back from him, obviously, but he's having a grand old time whizzing.
Can I... Empathic link, that's not
You can tell he's having a
telepathic.
grand old time doing whatever he's doing.
Oh, yeah, I know, but I can communicate with him.
No, it's empathic.
Or
Oh,
empathic,
just
so you just
feelings
get
and
feelings.
stuff, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
You can feel that he's having a grand old time.
Oh. Elora's just going to sit on the... She sat on the back of the wagon as she was originally, and she's just going to go, That's it. That's all she's doing.
I think while all of this is going on, I'll tell Pickle to go hunt. We might as well have some dinner.
Yep, Pickle goes off hunting.
Okay.
Yep.
So we did move slightly.
Stealth rolls, yep.
Yeah.
1. Not a nat 1.
Okay, on the other end of the scale, I'm 20.
Nat 20
What
or
do you
a...
say?
No, dirty 20.
Oh, my God. Wow. Just wow.
I feel with 3 and I'm on -2.
Look, I found a harmonica. I wonder if it works.
Now, basically, my shields, my visors are going to come down and I'm just going to collapse down a hill.
Okay. Ogvar, once again, you are like the wind whispering through the trees. No sound can be heard from you as you pass over the grass like a wraith. Cuin, you fall over a rock.
Not for the
Blast.
first time. Again.
And a rather large clanking sound is produced.
Oops. Whoopsie. Sorry.
He goes from death-dealing paladin to whoopsie.
Okay.
So, are we in earshot of said group?
Who knows?
Have we... Well, can we see them yet?
You can't see them, no.
Can we still hear them?
Make me listen check.
You hear the sound of
13.
swords coming out of sheaths.
I've got a chance of hearing 13.
13.
Okay. still kind of it's not so loud now, but you think the wind may have changed direction. This very slight breeze might have changed direction. You can still hear what sounds like voices.
Okay. They still sound like they're making merriment, or
You can't really tell. You just know that you can hear voices. You're just aware that you can hear people talking.
so they've got to be close-ish by now if we can hear them.
Yes, you could assume so. Okay, so Cadeaux, pick me a 25%.
25.
Yeah.
25 to 50.
Yep. Pickle comes back with 2 rabbits.
2 rabbits.
Oh, well done, Pickle. Look, Cadeaux, he's brought you back a couple of rabbits.
Yeah, I know. Dinner again.
He's really good at that, isn't he?
Years of training. Years of
Yeah.
training.
Okay, so do we know roughly how far we can hear people and we can hear fire? Can't we? If I remember right.
Yes, you can hear very close by. There appears to be a sound of people and the sound of a crackling campfire.
Okay, can we figure out sort of which direction roughly it's coming from?
Yeah. Make me a survival roll for that one.
Survival.
Both?
If you're both trying to figure out which direction, then yes.
Okay. Be a 19.
19?
14.
And 14. Okay, so it's fairly easy for both of you to kind of tell that you're almost above this level of sound. You're almost hearing it kind of float upwards towards you slightly. And Ogvar, you can tell that where you are, with the way the land is kind of tilting and going, and almost like the direction of the trees and the shape of the roots of the trees around you, you can tell that the land is kind of becoming slightly steeper on a more downhill angle.
Okay.
And you can see that it does indeed kind of start going downhill almost. And you're on quite a little bit of a rocky area at the moment, although there's trees and stuff. There's quite a few big kind of chunks of rock around.
Okay. So what direction was it coming from?
It's literally coming from your northeast.
Okay, northeast, yeah. There we go. It's, coming from that direction over there. Wouldn't you agree, Cuin?
Yes, it seems to be. It seems to be in a bit of a hollow. Do you reckon? And it seems to be coming up a hill.
Okay.
You know, as if there's a bit of an echo coming from down below.
Still think we are too far away to make a decision whether this is a dangerous situation or not.
I suppose we better. I'll try best to go a bit more quietly. I suppose.
Okay.
No promises.
Okay. So we'd like to try move towards the sound, I think.
Yep.
Yep.
Trying to move towards you, trying to move quietly again.
It's got
you willing
to go well once, hasn't it?
You said that with such expectation in your voice.
Are you
Gotta
willing to
happen
risk
once.
it?
It's got to happen once.
Roll for it.
15. At least I'm not falling over everything.
That'd be a 19 for Ogvar.
Yeah, Ogvar, you're absolutely fine. You're walking through this kind of tufty grass.
You're like a cat.
Cuin, you make a kind of more of a... There's not much you can really do about it because you're wearing metal armour, and you get the kind of this like kind of scraping noise of kind of dry grass brushing over your armour. But you actually manage to make very little noise as you move. So progressing towards the kind of northeast where you've heard this sound kind of floating up from, you can see that the ground is getting a little steeper downhill. You walk for another 5 minutes, and you kind of merge through the trees, and there is one very large, singular kind of boulder right in your path. It looks like a bit of scree or it's just a large kind of chunk of rock. And you can hear this noise kind of coming from below you at this point. And as you walk to the one side of the boulder, you can see that there's a slight, almost overhang. It's probably about 20 feet up in the air, into this kind of dipped bowl-shaped valley almost.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see it's literally a hollow. It's like, the shape of like a paw. It's that kind of teardrop shape with the open end at the top. And this opened end is kind of to the northwest. And in this little hollow, you can see this.
Ooh.
What
So which way are we looking at? Are we coming from this way? Or?
So the entrance there, that's tilted towards the northwest. So you're kind of... So if you imagine that's on your northwest. Other way, there we go, yep.
Okay.
So you see what appears to be a very well constructed camp. There's large kind of tree trunk walls. There's a fire pit. There's a very large tent in the middle. There are a couple of ponies tied up around the outside, and you can see they've tried to make some kind of like rudimentary defences using sharpened wooden stakes around the outside.
Okay. And are we still hidden, silently moving, stealthy like a ninja?
Yeah, I mean, you're really quite quiet. You can hear the same kind of noise levels, and as you're looking down to the camp, you can see 2 women and 3 small children huddled around this campfire.
3 children.
Yeah, 3 children. They're all kind of clothed in... The children are clothed in what appears to be roughly kind of shaped down, cut down leathers, odd bits and rags. There are a couple which are barefoot. But they're happy. They're kind of running around playing. This is where you can hear this kind of noise of children playing from. And these 2 women, they're clearly parents of these children. They're wearing not the thick plate mail, which you've seen on these other bandits, but they're wearing almost like some old ripped up chainmail, which you can see has been almost kind of stitched back together. And the other one is wearing what appears to be kind of like a breastplate and some other a mix of like a breastplate and leathers.
Okay.
I don't know about you, but I've never been one for hitting females. They look quite harmless. Well, we can see the females, and the only people in there are a couple of females and a few kids.
Yeah.
They don't look much of a threat, so maybe we should... what do you think?
Well, the camp's obviously big enough for more than just the 5 we can see.
Yes, well, yeah. I mean, there were the 4? Was it 5?
5.
There were the 5 fellows that we gave a bit of a trousing to, you know.
I think it's a bit more than a trousing. I think
Yeah.
someone's making funeral arrangements at the moment.
But yes, hopefully they'll have buried them by the time we get back. What do you want to do?
How many tents are there in there?
We don't know.
No, I know we don't. He can see.
7 with a big one.
That's fine. Yes, but only a couple. What are you thinking?
Well, can I, as humans as my favoured enemy, can I have an advantage to sense motive?
Does it give you a bonus on sense
I think
motive?
it does. Favoured enemy.
What's sensing motive on?
The
Exactly.
people.
Yeah.
See whether they look
yeah.
banditish or peasantish.
Wouldn't that be a sense motive?
You don't need to make a sense motive check. Sense motive is usually used when you're kind of in conversation or you're checking to see if shopkeeper's scamming you. It can be used in the sense of you can use it to kind of read body language. That's one way you can use it. But in this case, you don't need to. You can clearly tell that they're not peasants in the sense that, you know, most peasants in the villages where you've come from in Kessig, most peasants, they kind of huddle up, they're wearing plain kind of clothes, sturdy clothes, they farm, they live in a house, that's it. They don't tend to live out in the wilds because it's dangerous. And you can see that these people, they're clearly, I mean, even the kids are wearing armour.
Okay. Well, I would assume by their attire they are part of the same band.
Yes. Did they cause... What I'm getting at is, do you think they cause a threat to us as we carry on? Or should we neutralise any chance? I'm feeling more... We know they're there. They don't seem to be much of a threat, so get back and get out. What do you think?
Okay, I would. You are the heavy hitter, and not much point me going in there waving my axe around on my own. So
Yeah, I just think it's probably, it was only a scout, and don't forget we've got a time limit. I don't know how long we've been out now.
probably getting. How long have we been gone? Probably getting up for the hour now, aren't we?
You're getting kind of close to...
Yeah, halfway point.
Yeah, you're getting close to it.
Okay. Well, this any skirmish we may incur here may end us left behind from the party, so maybe it would be wise. We know there's no threat. Can I see where the big knife is?
Make me a spot check.
Ah, ace. I can't do alphabetical order. Okay. 14.
14, yeah, okay. So with a 14, as you're kind of stood there, it's a fair day, quite grey, little bit of a breeze going on, and you notice out of the corner of your eye, kind of towards the back corner of this camp, almost just out of sight, round one of these wooden blockades in the tent, you see almost like a banner kind of furl slightly, and on this banner you can see the image of a big knife, big sword.
Ah, okay.
It looks like a great sword or a bastard sword.
Ah.
You're kind of, from this distance, you can't tell the difference between exactly. Although you are quite close, but you can't just, as it's kind of moving, you can't tell the difference exactly, but you can tell it's a big sword.
Okay. So, yes, with the banner over there flying in the wind, it's maybe a representation of the leader's weapon.
Yes, could be. That could be totally defenceless, but, it's just the timing issue, more than anything.
Okay.
Hitting women and children, not really.
Okay, well, this conversation's clearly run its course. I think we should turn round.
Okay, yes, I believe.
Okay.
But at least we know that, it doesn't look like there's a great big, another gang of 5 or 6 blokes in there.
Okay, yes, no problem. We'll turn round.
Okay.
Yep, we'll
Okay.
start making our way back.
So you turn around and you leave the area. You start making your way back. As you the further away you get, the less you can hear kind of like the screams of children and whatnot. Happy screams, not sad screams.
Someone else beat us to it.
You're kind of hearing these children less and less as you go. Murdoch's with you, obviously, and on your way back, it's a fairly clear journey. You just retrace your footsteps through the woods. You've got this little piece of scrap paper map to help you. And on your way through, you meet Rowan, whizzing through the woods.
Oh, hello, Rowan. What are you doing?
He just chitters at you.
Oh, I see.
And he takes perch on your visor. Like
maybe you can keep it up.
It's like a really bad magic tree.
One that smells of mead.
Yeah. And it doesn't take you. You're not. Are you trying to be kind of quiet on your way back, or are you just walking? No. Yeah. So just walking normally. It doesn't take you that long to get back to the carriages at all. Okay.
Here, look what I found.
Wow. Oh, you got Rowan. Oh, you're back as well. That's fantastic. What gives, guys?
There was a small camp, a few children and a couple of women. Doesn't seem to be too much of a threat. Didn't want to attack it. I mean, Ogvar has better eyesight and that sort of thing than me.
You didn't see any more blokes then?
Oh, no.
No. But
Oh,
still, you know,
Just,
so we're talking widows and orphans then?
yeah, could well be.
Right. Right, well,
But it could be a different altogether. But it, you know, it was quite a little stockade. So
and would you think that's where they came from?
I
I mean, they were holding a map, but
it was either where they came from or where they were going to attack next time.
when you say it's a stockade, what kind of stockade?
Well, it was log walls and
Oh, like proper built then?
oh yes,
Like a permanent thing?
and then there was some tents, and there was a very large tent in the centre.
There was a banner which may identify them as a clan. A banner with a rather large sword.
Oh, so, okay, well that's not Skersdag then.
Oh, no.
That's very different.
Where are the bodies now?
Believe you rolled the bodies
We-
behind that little tump of hill.
We put them all behind the hill and
yeah.
marked them with some stones. I said a few words.
Oh, okay. Just thought it may have been signifying the weapon of their leader. Quite a large sword, if I remember right.
Well, do you want to go and examine this camp? I mean,
Well,
is there anything to gain from going to the camp?
well, you know, apart from finding out what the key does, but the only thing that I was thinking is, why would you have a map to your own camp? Surely you'd know where your own camp is. I don't know if they were going to attack it or you know, after dealing with us or what, but
They didn't strike me as the brightest group. I suspect having a map to get home probably would have been handy to them.
yes, yes, I suppose.
Anyway, I think Leopold's pretty keen to get pushed on, isn't he? So
Well,
if we don't
yeah.
consider them a threat, I think probably brief Leopold that they're not a threat, and let's get cracking.
Right,
What do
well,
we think?
well, we know where it is. So, yeah, I guess. I guess if you don't want to go and... Well, what would we go to the camp for? Loot it?
Well, it's,
Well, that-
it's two women on their own. Ogvar might want to head back, but
Do I have my mushroom book in my pocket amongst myself?
You do, yeah.
Yeah.
You have your mushroom.
Can I clonk Cadeaux on the head with it?
Roll to hit. Add your strength and your BAB to it.
I'm not going to defend myself.
You're not. You're just getting hit by a book.
Yeah, I'm not going to defend
You
myself.
don't need to roll to hit. Just roll me.
I'm entirely content that that my barber's worked.
Well, it won't be the first time it's been hit by a book.
Yeah.
That's a 19
Oh.
on the roll. And what else?
Yeah, it would have hit anyway because he's not even defending
Yeah,
against it. Roll me a d4.
Still missing her then.
The 3.
Yep, you take 3 points of bludgeoning damage.
Super.
Oh no. I'm starting to wear thin of this joke.
I think I may have touched a nerve. Right, yes, so back on the wagons, people.
Literally.
Well, for your bat.
Well, yeah, that's quite true. I'm going to walk over to Cuin, remove Rowan, just look at him, and then just pop him back in his... I'll lift the flap of the holder that I've got
Yeah.
on my side, drop him back in there.
Elora,
Yes?
where did he get the mead from?
I don't
I
know.
could smell it.
I really don't know. I mean, if I ever need a drink, it's not going to be a problem, is it? But,
We could just ring him out.
well, yeah. I don't know. He's just at that age, you know. He's at that really difficult age, but I'm clearly going to have to do something about this.
Do bats have a difficult age?
Well, clearly he does, so I'm assuming so. I haven't had a bat previously, but...
Yeah, my concern is it might just be a difficult bat.
Well, as long as he does his job when I need him to,
Okay.
that's all I care about. And
Okay.
actually, he's quite sweet, even if he does get himself in and out of bother. I did smile when he had a pop at the vamp, though.
Well, yeah, it
Fair
keeps you
play to
happy. So, what other reason for having a pet?
Well,
So, are we going to get back in the same wagons, or are we going to have a bit of a mix-up?
I'm just going to get back on the... Laura's just getting back on the wagon at the back where she was originally and just take up the normal position and continue.
So, as you kind of sort out between yourself who's going where, are you making any changes or are you just going for the same thing?
I think probably.
I was just going to jump on the back of the middle wagon, like so. I pat the book in his hand. Like, look
Looks
at
like you're
Cadeaux.
strumming a banjo.
Yeah, so I shall get on the front of the middle wagon. I think probably Ogvar and I need a little time apart.
And I'm just going to get on the front wagon.
Yep.
Get my crossbow.
Okay. As you kind of sort yourself off, Esther goes, "Oh, well, I'll let Leopold know then." And she goes off to kind of let Leopold know what's happening. And you all get back on. Ricky and Jeff, they've kind of calmed the horse in the middle. They've got the horses calm again. Everything's tidied away. And you're off.
What did we do with the 3 spare horses?
They're tied to the, was it back of the middle wagon?
I think so.
Tried to
Okay.
something, yeah.
They were tied to the back of one of the
Okay,
wagons.
super.
They've been properly secured and sorted out by Ricky and Jeff in this time that you've been gone. Okay,
Where is Cuin?
I don't know.
Oh, he's in the kitchen. I'm still waiting to fix his hammer. He needs to go and find him.
Is he
You appear to have made
I think
you
he's
made a
on-
small detour to the kitchen.
I think he's on top of the microwave, whatever one of those is.
You mean the microwave?
The
So the ne-
microwave. Yeah.
The next challenge is to recover Cuin from the microwave.
Grab 3 horses out of there.
Rescue him from the microwave.
Oh, it's only a small job.
stood in the clearing, spinning round. Going, "Ah!"
It'll make the sparks, won't it, with all that metal?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Be electrocuted.
Summon lightning. There we go. Ooh,
Big man's at the front.
3 horses. Right, okay. So, it was about early afternoon when you were ambushed, I believe. Do I have it in my notes?
We'd had
We'd
lunch.
had-
We
we'd
had
had
lunch. So do we think we'll make Ironfort by the evening? Is the question, I suppose.
Let me just check my notes.
Because he said he'd only wait 2 hours, otherwise he wouldn't make Ironfort.
So you set back off on the track. Again, it's a well-worn track. You can see the ruts in the ground where you've got kind of like dry, baked earth almost. And it's a fairly calm journey. The horses which are trailing along behind the middle carriage, they're following at a good pace. They're not as good a quality as Leopold's horses. You can see that Leopold's horses, although they're older, they look like they may be ex-military horses. They're very well trained, they're well disciplined. These ponies you're kind of dragging on behind, they are wild. Their manes are long and tangled, they've got very tufty fur. It's very much a clear difference in quality between the animals. But it's a fairly quiet journey. And you travel for a couple more hours until you hear from the very front of the carriage, "Right, ladies and gents, we'll be coming up to Ironfort in just a minute. You'll see him coming round the bend here." And as you come round,
It's like an open top tour, isn't it? Sorry, continue.
it's not going to tell you where the zebras are. And you've almost got, as you're coming around this corner, as he's saying, there's almost like this kind of large hill. You can't see around it. You come around the corner and you get your first view of Ironfort. It is a relatively large town. It's definitely not a city, nowhere near the size of Junau. Definitely nowhere near that size. But it is a decent sized city, and it is very well reinforced. Town, sorry, yes. It's a decently sized town, and it's very well reinforced. You can see that all around kind of the edges of what you can see, there are kind of not tall walls, but they're about 15-foot high walls. They're solid looking walls. They're made of stone, logs, trees, anything that, natural resources that people can get hold of. They've cobbled together walls. You can see parts which look like they've been crumbled and then rebuilt, and it's almost like this very kind of patchwork effect of walls. In front of this wall you can see that there is what appears to be a moat, which has been dug out or carved out somehow. You're not exactly sure how, but it looks like there's running water. You can hear it moving. And as you come around the corner and you start heading towards the town's entrance, there are all sorts of kind of like fields of crop all around, you know, either sides of this road. Everyone make me a spot check.
That's a 17 all in for Elora.
Okay.
That's a 13 all in for me.
12 all in for Cadeaux.
26.
Okay, so anybody who rolled over a 16, you are able to see that there looks to have been some recent damage to the city. There looks to have been some recent damage to the town. Just from where you stood, you can see that there are a couple of more recently broken parts of the wall. You can see there are almost like some kind of gouged out sections of bark where it's that very kind of clean white exposed colour. Ogvar, with a 26, you were able to see that in the kind of fields surrounding you, from your position perched on top of this cart, you can see that there appears to be some areas which have been flattened, muddied, gouged out of some gouges. It looks like something rather large has been wandering through the fields.
Okay.
And in a very undelicate manner as well.
Well, we are expecting a troll, so
Maybe Cuin's visited him. What's possible?
What was that?
Hey, looks like a nice town. I think you'll enjoy yourself here.
Yes. Brilliant.
Definitely not a city, though.
Well, this looks substantial.
Okay. So as you enter, you've passed through these fields. You've passed over a kind of rickety wooden bridge across this moat. It's nothing so fancy as a drawbridge, but there's this kind of large, big, kind of chunky planes of seasoned oak which have been laid down, and that you can see they've been trodden in and embedded within like kind of the muddy banks. You can see like it's almost kind of like grown into the oak. There's bits of grass and all sorts. And although it's damp, the wood is kept relatively clean. There's very little lichen or moss, and it seems that someone regularly maintains it to make sure that it isn't slippery and no one's going to go falling into the moat below. The moat itself is only about 5 foot wide. It's very kind of narrow, although it does appear to be quite deep and contain a decent volume of water. And it's kind of pushing through, going towards, down towards Selhoff Way, so it's kind of going down that way. As you pass through this gated entrance, it's like a big archway. Obviously the walls are quite high. Big archway. As you come close, you can see there are some slight, almost ramshackle castellations which someone's put at the top of these walls, obviously in some form of defence. And as you pass through this archway, there are a couple of banners with there's a couple of banners with like anvils on them, and what looks like a little bars of metal almost. Very crudely done. They're almost being like painted on. They're not stitched on. They're not sewn in. It's very crude. You can tell these are handmade. And you enter into the town of Ironfort. To your right as you enter, there is a kind of a vast swathe of just green land inside. And this land, it looks like it's been split up into sections, and it's basically an allotment. So you've got lots of kind of bits of fencing, little markers everywhere, and there appears to be a varied abundance of crops growing. You've got some fruit, you've got some vegetables, there's a couple of trees, a couple of orchardy looking bits, and it's just this kind of general patchwork of fauna. To your right, sorry, that's to your right. To your left is there is the start of buildings. So, It's early evening. There's still quite a hustle and bustle around. You can see in these orchardy areas there are people who are still kind of digging the earth, turning it over, inspecting their crop, even picking a couple of what looks like could be possibly potatoes out of the ground. They're digging them up. But you kind of, to get into the city of Ironfort, this is what the general kind of map of Ironfort looks like. There we go, that's it.
Which way are we coming from? On the bottom?
Yeah, so you've come up from the bottom there where I've kind of drawn the rest of the road in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that way.
Yeah. So if you just want to pass that around,
Yep.
I'll be back in a minute.
Thank you.
So are we working on the theory that Leopold's going to park up for the night, and while he's parked up for the night, we're going to try and deal with the troll? Is that how we're seeing this?
I'm not sure. I hadn't really paid it much thought until now. I think it's a decision the whole party should make. But I assume we will not have a huge amount of time to complete the task if we have chance at all.
Cuin's up front with Leopold, isn't he?
Yep.
Well, I'm at the back, so it's pointless me yelling.
Are we still moving along in the carriage at this point?
Yes, you are. I just wanted you to have a look at the map so I can
Okay.
have it back in.
So the sort of the shaded bits of fields and or are they all each
No,
shaded
that's-
bits of building?
that's the building.
So that's the allotment,
Yes.
and then these are all buildings.
Yes.
Oh, so the allotments, yeah, the allotments are right.
The allotment's that big area in the inside.
Yeah.
So that's that bit.
Got it.
So basically, if we follow this road, we'll end up in the town square.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. You're good? Okay.
But we wouldn't know that anyway.
No, I just want you to take a look at this because I'm going to need this back to work off of, and I just want you to have a general idea of what I'm on about. Okay, so with the allotment on your right and the buildings on your left, you start moving, following the road, and you can tell that from the sound of the horses' hooves that this is actually transitioned into kind of almost like a roughly kind of paved road. There appears to be some attempt to put bricks and kind of flat stones in to make a flatter surface, but it's still quite rough and you can feel every bump on the carriage. So you kind of follow the curve of this allotment area round, and you eventually you get funneled into what you could say is the middle of this town. And in the middle of this town there is a very large square, and there's a lot of activity here, a hive of activity. There's a couple of open blacksmiths around the edges of this square. There are people bringing goods into the square, loading them up onto carts, which are then moving off to different parts of this town. It's a hive of activity, and from what you can see kind of moving throughout this town, you can tell that there's a lot of ores, fruits and vegetables, and crop, basically, just moving through this town. There doesn't appear to be much else really, and the people around you can tell they're almost the way they're dressed. You've got a couple of people who are obviously they're covered in, they're quite well armed. You could tell they're probably people who are passing through, or they're part of the town's guard maybe. A couple of people who look like they're in a bit more of like an official uniform. They've got like a little band tied around their arm, but there are people who look like they're protecting cargo. There are people who look dressed in plain, simple clothes, but hardy clothes, which you can maybe assume are farmers handling vegetables. It's just this little hive of activity in the centre here. And it's at this point where Leopold pulls up the carriages, pulls up the convoy, and jumps off the carriage himself. Ricky, Jeff, Big John, and Ben kind of follow, and they kind of come towards. They're clearly kind of coming towards each other in the middle kind of area, around the middle carriage.
Okay.
Elora's going to jump down off the back where she's sat with her legs dangling. She's going to nudge Esther.
Yep. Esther's kind of dozed off on the journey. Oh, hello, dear.
Come on, Esther. I think we're here. This is Ironfort. Let's everyone seems to be getting off, so let's go and see what's going on.
Oh, yes,
It's
absolutely.
quite busy.
Oh, yes, it is. I wonder why I didn't wake up.
Well, it's like all these market stalls with bits and pieces on.
No,
They're
aren't.
not- oh,
No,
they're not
they're
market
not
stalls?
market stalls. No.
Oh, right, okay.
No.
So how are these fruit and vegetables and whatnot laid out? Are they just
No,
on...
this is cargo. This is
Oh.
people moving cargo through here.
Oh, right, okay. Sorry, my misunderstanding.
I'm going to get off and... right, what do we do now? Is there a tavern or somewhere, or we need to pick something up?
Well, I don't know. Leopold, are you planning to stay here for the evening, or are we just going through? What's your plan?
Well, usually what I'd do is I would pick up my goods here, because I've got some goods which I need to pick up from here. What I'd usually do is I'd then carry on for a couple more hours and then stop for the night. But, seeing as we're here, it's starting to get dark, we'll stay here overnight. Has anyone here actually been to Ironfort before?
No, not me.
No.
Okay.
I'm from
Afraid not.
Nephalia, but I've not been this far down.
Okay. Well, Ricky, Jeff, Ben, Big John, off you go. Start getting stuff ready. And he turns to kind of... They all kind of spread off to go and do whatever they've got to do. Leaving just kind of the five of you there. Yes, right. Well, at the moment, the way Ironfort is, it's not really a big place for monster.
5? 6?
No, there's only 5 of us.
5 of us and him.
Where's Esther gone?
There's only 5.
5 of us and
1,
him.
2,
yeah.
3, 4.
Okay.
I knew you should have chopped that finger off.
Wow. I can't maths.
Yes, right. The way Ironfort is, it's very much a commerce town. A lot of grain, a lot of fruit. People pass through with their oars, getting down to Selhoff. It's not really a great place for living. Not much really interesting around here. So this is kind of like the central hub. People pull up. Got a couple of taverns around here. They'll load up goods, they'll drop off goods, and then they'll go again.
Is there an inn that we can stay overnight?
Oh, yeah, there's a couple of inns around here. It'd be easy to find one.
Well, seeing as we're supposed to be here protecting the cargo and protecting the wagons, do you want some help? Do we need to do something else other than just stand around?
No, I'm perfectly happy for you to kind of go and do what you want. I won't need you back until morning.
And have you heard anything about the troll, Leopold? Because we heard that there was a troll terrorising the town, and that might mean you need a bit of extra protection.
Yeah, I heard a couple of rumours from a couple of passing merchants while I was waiting at the gates. I'm not exactly sure of the situation, but I can see that there's obviously been something going on. People are more on edge around here. Don't usually see this many guards out at once, so it's possible that something's going on.
Okay. And do you know is there a guild in town?
No, there's no guild here. It's simply just like a stopover to collect goods and go.
Okay, thank you.
So at that, I'll take a step closer to Cadeaux and say, "Oh, I do believe I may have seen something from the wagon as we're coming across the drawbridge. There seems to be quite a lot of flattened down earth and divots and scrapes and scuffles on the ground. So there's definitely been some movement of something rather large out there. So I would definitely say there may be the probability of a troll."
Oh, good. I do love a troll.
Investigation rather than infiltration was the order of the day for the group. Ogvar's feathered friend Murdoch took flight on a scouting mission, whilst the duo of woodsman and swordsman proved somewhat of a dichotomy. Ogvar's super stealthy skills were on show, whilst the Paladin proved the polar opposite, clanging and crashing his way through the undergrowth, making him everything but undetectable. Having deemed it immoral to inflict damage upon the newly bereaved bandit families, the party took the decision to move on with haste. Upon reaching the gates of Ironfort, the team confirmed that the town is suffering from a spot of troll trouble, as per the contract they had undertaken from the guild back in Drunau.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Having you as a listener means everything to us. So, whichever streaming service you choose to listen to us with, please give us a like, subscribe and follow. We would love for you to join us on our Facebook or Twitter page, where you can catch up with all of our latest news. While you're waiting for the next episode of Secrets of the Silver City, why not pop over to our website, where you can read all of the information about this campaign, from backstories to setting. All of the links are in the bio of this episode. Join us again next week for the next instalment. Thank you for listening.